I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice.
Hello, my name is Dr. Diane B. Martin. It gives me great pleasure as chair of the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission to welcome you to our program today. We will honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the sharing of essays from students who are the winners of our essay and poster contests, recognize our Living the Dream Award recipients, announce our organizational award winner, and hear the name of the winner of our individual award. You will have the opportunity to hear from some of our commissioners as they acknowledge our student winners for their 2021 essay, oratory, and poster contests. Listen carefully to our honored guests, which include our elected officials, Dr. Calvin Ball, Howard County Executive, Congressman John Sarbanes, Mr. Wes Moore, our keynote speaker, author, and nonprofit CEO, and Dr. Opal Jones, Howard County Council Chair. You will also hear from some of our commissioners as they introduce our Howard County Public School System student leaders who will participate in our program via skits, songs, and serving as our mistress of ceremony. Our Living the Dream recipients are model leaders whose efforts show no weariness as they fight on a daily basis for a better county, a better city, and a better world. This award recognizes individuals and organizations that promote the teachings and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through community involvement. Our 2021 winners not only work for the constituents that they lead or are involved in, but for all mankind. They are the recipients recognized for their steadfast commitment to preserving and promoting the teachings and legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through their daily work and service. Many elementary, middle, and high school students submitted their essays and posters, but we had to narrow the winners to a few. These students epitomize the teaching of Dr. King's dream and the lesson for this year's theme. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Allow me to recognize and thank Yolanda F. Saunier, administrator, and the staff in the Office of Human Rights for their hard work, dedication, and commitment. Allow me also to thank the commissioners for their work as well. They have gone the extra mile to bring this program to fruition. Lastly, without further ado, I present to you our Mistress of Ceremony today, Sabrine Semper from Marriott Ridge High School. Sabrine is a member of the Scholars Leadership Program and is an honor student. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sabrine Semper, and I'm a senior at Marriott Ridge High School, and I'm honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon's celebrations. The Howard High School JROTC will now present the colors.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of our nation's colors, presented by the Howard High School Army JROTC Color Guard, commanded by Cadet First Sergeant Velasco, and the singing of the National Anthem by Cadet Second Lieutenant Vijay. Please remain standing until the Color Guard has exited the area.
Mark time, march. Left turn, march. Color guard, halt. Present, colors. Order, colors. Mark time, march. Right turn, march. Forward, march.
Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Charles Y. Davis, Jr. I'm the pastor of the Full Gospel Baptist Church in Cooksville, Maryland. And so we have been asked to come and have a word of prayer. Let us pray. Eternal God, we thank you so much for your blessings as we continue to look unto you, because you are the author and the finisher of our faith. And for that, God, we say thank you. Thank you for your love and your kindness that you have rendered unto us. Even with the times that we're living in, you have been kind. We thank you, oh God, now as we render for this occasion for the late Dr. Martin Luther King, one who some of us have never met, for he was assassinated before we even had an opportunity to meet him. But yet we are so grateful that his spirit will live on forever with us as we continue the journey through life. So God, thank you for this wonderful occasion that you have allowed us to partake in, honoring him in a mighty, mighty special way. For this is our prayer, in the wonderful and the sovereign name of God that we do pray, and our souls say amen.
Lift Every Voice and Sing was a poem written by James Weldon Johnson in 1900. His brother, John Rosamond Johnson, composed the music to accompany the lyrics. The song was originally written and performed by 500 school children at a segregated Stanton school where James Weldon Johnson served as principal to celebrate the President Abraham Lincoln's birthday. In the 20th century, the song was adopted by the NAACP and used as a rallying cry during the Civil Rights Movement. It's also known as the Black National Anthem. Cynthia Fikes will sing this moving song.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Stormy the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with the steady beat have not a weary feet come to the place for which our fathers died.
County Executive Calvin Ball is a Maryland native and resident of Columbia, where he and his wife Shani are proud parents of 2 daughters who attend and graduated from Howard County Public Schools. In 2006, Ball made history when he was elected as the youngest chairperson in history of Howard County Council. He made history once more in 2018 when he became the first African American to be elected as Howard County Executive. Dr. Ball's vision is to innovatively expand opportunity and foster the best quality of life for all who work, live, or visit Howard County. I present Dr. Calvin Ball.
The Howard County Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission was established to encourage and coordinate activities and ceremonies throughout Howard County to honor the birthday and ideals and legacy of the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This celebration will include performances by diverse community groups and recognition of the 2022 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream Award recipients and student essay, oratory, and poster contest winners. The Living the Dream Award honors an individual and an organization who exemplify the work and legacy of Dr. King. For the essay and poster contest, students were asked to reflect upon Dr. King's statement and this year's contest theme: whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. In addition to the celebration, I encourage you to participate in the virtual Day of Service offerings across Howard County. For more information, visit the link below. Let us pause each day and reflect on one of my favorite quotes from Dr. King. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Thank you.
Thank you for your service, County Executive Ball. We will now have a dance performance by Kaylee Seuss, a student at Misako Ballet. This piece, called Wishing on Stars, was choreographed by Misako Aoki, and the dance was composed by Kenichi Shimosaka. Kaylee, that was an amazing performance. We will now hear from another community leader, Dr. Opal Jones, Howard County Council Chairman. Dr. Jones has an extensive career in higher education administration. He serves as a lecturer in mathematical sciences at American University in Washington, D.C. Dr. Jones volunteers his time mentoring and tutoring youth when he is not serving in the capacity of the County Council Chairman. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jones to the podium.
Hello, everyone. My name is Opal Jones, and I currently serve as the chair of the County Council in Howard County, Maryland. It is a pleasure to be here to celebrate with you all, someone I hold near and dear to my heart, someone I've been studying since I was a little boy, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Super proud to have my son here, who's 6 and who's also learning about Martin Luther King. A wonderful holiday, and I really hope that we all can express our servitude for the community during this special day. One of the things that holds near and dear to my heart about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is the advocacy he had for the community, as well as his nonviolent attitude toward helping others. It was really, really important at that time in the 60s, as I studied in the 50s, to be able to do that, to combat some of the stereotypes that took place with African-American men, as well as being able to uplift the community. I was also very impressed with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as he was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. In my early 20s, I was able to study that organization, as well as other organizations that were founded at the turn of the 20th century. Finding out that he was a member really intrigued me to become one. So as you can see, I'm wearing my black and gold today in honor of Martin Luther King. As County Council Chair, it is my hope to be able to give that same service, that same attitude of servitude for the community through passing laws, looking at bills, and making sure things happen in a good light for Howard County citizens. So thank you so much for having me here. And I'd also like to thank all of the recipients of the awards and the contests. I know when I was in high school, I was a little timid and shy to be able to do something like that. But just like Dr. Martin Luther King, who earned a degree as a teenager and went on to grad school and do such wonderful things at a young age, congratulations on all that you've done. It's quite impressive, and continue to do good work. It is absolutely a pleasure, and enjoy MLK Day.
Good evening. My name is Sierra Suchand, and I'm a junior at Mount Hebron High School. I'm the student member of the MLK Holiday Commission, and I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Wes Moore. As a combat veteran, successful author, former CEO of a nationally known anti-poverty organization, and a Rhodes Scholar, Mr. Moore has devoted his life to serving his community and lives under the principle, no matter where you start in life, you deserve an equal opportunity to succeed, a job you can raise a family on, a future you can look forward to. As a child, he was born and raised in Baltimore and the Bronx. Despite childhood challenges, such as losing his father at the age of 3, Mr. Moore graduated with an associate's degree from Valley Forge Military College and Phi Beta Kappa from Johns Hopkins University, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in international studies. He was the first Black Rhodes Scholar at Johns Hopkins. He also worked closely with the White House as a fellow for Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, advising on issues associated with national security and international relations. Returning back to Baltimore, he started his own small business, which was focused on the crisis surrounding college attrition. Mr. Moore served as the CEO of the Robin Hood Foundation, which raised $600 million for anti-poverty programs. He is also a best-selling author of multiple stories, including The Other Wes Moore, The Work in 5 Days, which details the Baltimore uprisings of the murder of Freddie Gray in 2015. Currently, he lives with his wife and 2 children in Baltimore. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Wes Moore.
Hi, everyone. It's Wes Moore, and it is my joy to join you in this celebration of a life and of a legacy of a true hero of mine, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King represented so much of the best of us. He stood for justice, economic empowerment, fair treatment, and opportunity. He marshaled in critical progress that defined the Civil Rights era, the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, and end to segregation. And he led with dignity and grace and honesty and peace. He elevated the collective struggle of millions of us into our national consciousness. It's been 54 years since Dr. King was taken from us, far too soon. And there was still so much that he fought for and ultimately died for that is still very much at stake in this moment. The racial injustices that Dr. King and so many leaders in the civil rights movement fought for, unfortunately, many of them still persist today. And they persist right here. Because right here, at this moment in Maryland, the average white family has 8 times the wealth of the average Black family. The average Black worker makes 77 cents to the white worker's dollar. Maryland right now incarcerates more young Black men per capita than any other state in the country. The state that comes in second is Mississippi. We all have a collective and a critical role to play in the fight for equality and economic justice to carry out Dr. King's legacy. Now, one of Dr. King's quotes is one of my favorites. I actually had it on my desk when I was leading one of the largest nonprofit organizations in America. And it said, philanthropy is commendable, but the philanthropists can never forget the economic injustice that makes philanthropy necessary. What Dr. King asked for, what Dr. King urged for, is for all of us to be able to play a key and a crucial role in that fight. And frankly, in a way for each and every one of us, it's in our DNA to do so. I think about those in my life and my ancestors. I think about my grandfather, Reverend James Thomas. He was the first one on my mom's side of the family that was actually born in the United States. And his father was also a minister. But before long, threats from the Ku Klux Klan forced them to flee this country and return to Jamaica. And most of my family vowed to never return to this country, and many never did. But my grandfather always vowed to return to the country where he was born. He came back. Like my paternal grandfather, he also graduated from an HBCU, and he became the first Black minister in the history of the Dutch Reformed Church. And after my dad died when I was 3, he and my grandmother opened up their small home to my mom, my sisters, and me. I would not be there, be right here with you all today, had it not been for him. This country will be incomplete without him. And I've spent my entire career trying to build the kind of world that he fought for and the kind of world that he deserved. When I deployed to Afghanistan as a captain with the 82nd Airborne Division, he gave me a Bible. In it, there were 4 words that were written and that I used to whisper to myself before every single mission that I went on, and that I still tell myself today. Those 4 words that he wrote were simply, have faith, not fear. In this moment of uncertainty and tumult and division, we must all have faith in our ability to create progress, because progress is impossible without collective action. We have a responsibility to be rooted in faith, rooted in our history, to build a future that our ancestors hoped for and that our children deserve. Bless you, and thank you.
Mr. Bert Hash will provide information for tomorrow's Day of Service activities.
Good afternoon. My name is Bert Hash, and on behalf of my co-chair, Kimberly McAuliffe of the Day of Service program, I would like to say a few words about the Day of Service. We often say life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others, to quote Dr. King. Well, last year, the MLK Holiday Commission sought to answer that question. And we were looking at not a day of service, but what could we do throughout the year. We are happy to report that the partnership with Harriet Tubman Foundation and the Martin Luther King Holiday Commission and the Maryland Food Bank for pop-up pantry programs, that we have served over 5,000 families in the community of Howard County, as well as delivered food to homes throughout the year to families that were in need. Today, we've finished our 12th pop-up pantry, and we served almost 500 families. This year, due to COVID, all in-person Martin Luther King Day of Service activities scheduled for January 17th have been canceled. And although those have been canceled where we would collect from the grocery stores, the food bank is still in desperate need of food and monetary donations. So we are encouraging the public in general and also asking that our member organizations do the following. Make a financial donation. We have the links set up already. Collect non-perishable food and drop it off at the Howard County Food Bank located at 9385 Gerwig Lane, Unit J, Columbia, Maryland. And order food from the Martin Luther King Jr. Amazon wish list and have it delivered directly to the food bank. This is a dire time in the winter time when the food bank runs the lowest. And so whatever we could do as a community to continue this effort, to continue to help each other, would certainly be appreciated. In addition, we had a successful virtual program last year, and we're looking to duplicate that this year. It helps to educate the community on various topics and sharing of information. I will quickly give you a list of those activities. They're on our website, and the links for you to register are present. Onyx Medical Society is a Black Health Workshop, and that will start on the 17th at 10 and run to 11 p.m. The Martin Luther King Commission and the Baltimore Regional Housing Partnership will have a financial literacy presentation from 11 to 12 o'clock p.m. Kappa Alpha Sorority will have their Community Impact Day, What's in Your Purse? This is Building Your Economic Legacy Workshop, and that runs from 1 to 2. We also have our partner returning with us, HopeWorks. They're doing a youth leadership project, and that will run from 1 to 2 p.m. As well as HopeWorks will have the I Can, I Will Create Peace virtual workshop, and that will run from 2 to 3. And we will close out the evening from 7 to 8 doing a One Watership partnership. It's a virtual screening of the disruption of Baltimore's highway to nowhere, and that's from 7 to 8. We'd like a special thanks to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, the Iota Lambda Omega chapter, to the Jack and Jill organization, as well as the Warren Mitchell organization for their special contribution to the day of service. So we appreciate everyone looking to take advantage of the opportunities that we're offering to share this information with you. And as I said, it is on our website, and you can register on that virtually today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hash. I hope everyone will participate in one or more of tomorrow's Day of Service activities. We will now hear a skit titled I Am, which is based on the rights that Dr. King and others fought for during the Civil Rights Movement.
I am who I am, that this signifies the being and the coming forth of all things in the universe is evident from the fact that I am is being, and because he alone is being. It is said in the nominative case, I am.
I am religion. My name is Jamal Bryant. I am a pastor and activist. I help bridge the gap between the young and old, representing nonviolent demonstrations and advocating for civil rights. I served as the director of the NAACP's Youth and College Division. I am religion.
I am a woman. My name is Johnny Tillman, and I am the leader of the National Welfare Rights Organization, which began in 1967. I stated to Dr. Martin Luther King that if you don't know about these questions, just say so we can move on with the meeting. And he stated, "You're right. We don't know anything about welfare."
I'm Legislature Bill H.R. 3706. President Ronald Reagan signed the bill on November 2nd, 1983, and it became Public Law 98-144. On August 1983, the House passed the bill to make Reverend Martin Luther King's birthday a holiday.
I am music. I am 1981 Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday song. I'm the song many of us love to sing to celebrate the anniversary of life. However, did you know I have a deeper background?
I am Men's Liberation Act. Congress passed the 26th Amendment in March 1971. It was ratified and signed by President Nixon in July into law that same year. There was a long-standing debate in America about lowering the voting age from 21 to 18, and it started during World War II and intensified during the Vietnam War when young men were sent to fight for their country but were denied the right to vote. In 1970, the case Oregon versus Mitchell, a divided Supreme Court ruled Congress had the right to regulate the minimum voting age from 21 to 18 in federal elections, but not at the state and local levels.
I am the Voting Rights Act. I am President Lyndon B. Johnson, and I signed the Voting Rights Act into law on August 6, 1965. The Voting Rights Act, also known as the 15th Amendment, was enforced to end discriminatory practices within the United States that prevented African Americans from being able to vote. Discriminatory practices such as poll taxes, literacy tests, and other bureaucratic restrictions were put in place to deny African Americans the right to vote. In addition, African Americans were harassed, intimidated, and threatened with physical violence as methods in preventing them from registering to vote. Once the Voting Rights Act became law, these discriminatory practices were outlawed, and African Americans were provided the right to vote.
I'm Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. George H.W. Bush signed the act on July 26, 1990. The act stated, "A covered entity shall not be discriminated against a qualified individual with a disability." The three parts to improve the lives of the disabled were buildings, transportation, and communications. I am the Disabilities Act of 1990.
I am gay rights. My name is Anise Parker, and I am a lesbian. On December 12, 2009, I won the election for the mayor of Houston. It is the fourth largest city in the United States. I am also the first person who served as an openly gay mayor. Surprisingly, in November 2013, I won a third term as Houston's mayor by winning over 57% of the votes. I have been mayor of Houston for 3 terms, a total of 6 years. My term will end in January 2016.
Thank you to our actors for that moving piece. We will now announce the winners for the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Celebration Awards. We will begin with the Elementary Poster Contest Awards presented by Brett Vess and Teresa Garcia.
My name is Brett Vess, co-chairperson of the poster contest. This year's theme is "Whatever affects one directly, affects all indirectly." On behalf of our co-chairperson, Teresa Garcia, and our esteemed judges who are high school students from across Howard County, we would like to congratulate all of our elementary school students, their participants, and parents and teachers. The winners of the poster contest are as follows. First place, Amelia Beroyd, Talbot Springs Elementary. Second place, Eli Matthew, Dayton Oaks Elementary. Third place, Anaya Matthew, Dayton Oaks Elementary. Please join me once again for congratulating our winners of the 2022 Martin Luther King Jr. Poster Contest.
We welcome Tina Horn to the podium to announce the winners of the middle and high school essay contest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tina Horn. It is my honor to serve on the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission, and I am happy to share good news with you. Our future is bright, and we are in good hands. Our young people are extraordinary, and they see the world as a place where we are all bonded in unison to face the challenges of racial and gender equality head on. These are some of the thoughts conveyed in the many essays that were submitted by our visionary young people for this year's contest. The commission wants to thank all of those who participated, and more importantly, thank you for sharing of yourselves. There were so many heartfelt examples given. The essays were truly moving and inspiring. It was very challenging to decide upon the winners. Thank you for making it so difficult for us.
Hi, my name is Hunter Craig, and I am the chair of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission Food Drive Competition. Dr. King once said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. This quote reflects on the fact that you don't need to have a college degree nor be an adult to serve your community. The annual food drive competition values this truth and strives to give young people in our community the chance to serve. Our competition began 3 years ago with the objective to collect extra cans of food from the school community during the holiday season. The commission reaches out to each high school and invites student groups to facilitate the food drive at their respective school. The commission supplies participants with the necessary materials for a successful drive and ensures fair competition. Since 2019, almost all of Howard County's public high schools have participated in our competition and have collectively raised over 6,500 pounds of food for the Howard County Food Bank. Now, the competition also began as an initiative for our student commissioner to participate in. So with that said, I'd like to turn it over to our student commissioner, Sierra, to share the results of this year's food drive competition.
Good evening. My name is Sierra Suchand. Before announcing the winner of this year's competition, we would like to thank the 8 Howard County high schools who participated this year. This includes Wild Lake, Centennial, Glenelg, Oakland Mills, Reservoir, Atholton, River Hill, and Howard High School. In total, we were able to raise over 2,500 cans of food. Finally, the winner of this year's competition, raising 1,436 pounds of food, is Reservoir High School. Congratulations.
Yetta Rogerson and Teresa Garcia will introduce the winners of the Living the Dream Award.
Good afternoon. My name is Teresa Garcia, and I am the co-chair of the Living a Dream Award. Today, I would like to recognize an individual, Larry Walker. He is a very active participant in the Howard County community. He is a founding member and recent president of the African American Community Roundtable, and he also serves as one of the pastors for Celebration Church. Mr. Walker serves his community to help raise awareness and empower communities to work towards reducing inequalities among African Americans. Mr. Walker has focused his community initiatives on education, health, economic development, public safety, and community outreach. He also maintained a passion of the youth by serving on the Howard County School Board and Ministry of the Youth programs. Mr. Walker, your activism and outreach within the community is remarkable. We want to recognize your efforts to preserve and promote the teachings and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you and congratulations. I would also like to recognize a youth from our community who won the Living the Dream Award. Ira Hussein, she is a senior this year at Reservoir High School. Ira has been an active member of the FRC robotics team in Howard County for the last 5 years. She was inspired by her robotics team to help her family and community during the COVID-19 pandemic by creating face shields. Ira spent many hours learning about the 3D process of face shields that followed the CDC specifications. Ira was able to create and send face shields to a local hospital, local doctors, and in our community, and also 2 hospitals in New Jersey and New York. Ira, your determination and care for your community is incredible. We want to recognize your efforts to preserve and promote the teachings of the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you and congratulations.
Good afternoon. My name is Yetta Rogerson, and I'm co-chair of the Living the Dream Committee of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission. The Women's Giving Circle of Howard County is a community of women philanthropists creating a permanent legacy to learn and address the issues impacting women and girls in Howard County. They pool their dollars to fund programs that benefit women and girls because nonprofits and programs that focus on women and girls are traditionally underfunded. The Women's Giving Circle has been a part of the Howard County community for 20 years, and they're still going. And they've raised over $1 million to support their efforts from over 1,600 donors. They have given over $1 million through 250 grants to over 50 different nonprofit organizations that support women and girls in our community. For these reasons and many, many more, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission recognizes your efforts to preserve and promote the teachings and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Each year, Congressman John Sarbanes recognizes the Living the Dream Award winners with a special recognition from his office. At this time, I would like to introduce Congressman John Sarbanes.
Greetings, everyone. This is Congressman Sarbanes. It's an honor for me to join you in celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday here in the year 2022. It's particularly meaningful this year because in Washington right now, my colleagues and I are working very hard to get two critical pieces of legislation over the finish line. The first is the Freedom to Vote Act, which would ensure that every American has free and fair access to the ballot box. Would also push back against the undue influence that big money and insiders and special interests have had on the way public policy is made in Washington. So it would lift up the voice of the people out in the country, and it would lift up the voice of the people in Washington. That's the Freedom to Vote Act. At the same time, we're trying to get the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act passed in Congress. This would restore critical protections under the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Taken together, these two bills, the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, represent a powerful expression of Americans' commitment to their democracy. It's now on lawmakers in Washington to make sure we get this over the finish line and onto the president's desk. We are working on that with every passing hour and passing day, and hopefully victory is within reach. I also want to salute Howard County for the day of service in remembrance of Dr. King. Dr. King felt very powerfully that, as he used to say it, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. He understood that powerful connection between the individual and the community in which they live or work comes from service. And that is what you all are engaged in today. I want to thank Howard County for lifting up the young people in the county, the next generation, as examples of how to engage in that service. Today, and for the days to come, we will continue to lift up Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy.
Thank you, Congressman Sarbanes. It was a pleasure to hear from you. As we come to the end of our program, we would be remiss if we did not hear from the woman who makes it all possible. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Yolanda F. Saunier, Administrator of the Office of Human Rights and Equity.
Good afternoon. I'm Yolanda Saunier, the Administrator for the Howard County Office of Human Rights and Equity. I am pleased to bring you remarks from the office. The Office of Human Rights and Equity is a resource for all. If you have been subjected to discrimination here in Howard County, please contact our office. In addition to investigating complaints of discrimination, the Office of Human Rights and Equity also conducts trainings, workshops, and facilitation to work towards eradicating discrimination, as well as reducing the inequities here in the county. If you ever need the assistance of the office or would like to partner with us, please contact us. I hope everyone has been enjoying the program thus far. I know I've had a fabulous time with this program and enjoying it this afternoon. This year's theme, taken from the quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, "Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." This theme and this quote to me says, you are not immune to the injustices that are occurring in our community and in the world. You may think that what's happening in Columbia doesn't affect you in Ellicott City. You may not think what's happening in Elk Ridge is not affecting you in Western Howard County. But in fact, Dr. King so wisely stated, whatever affects one directly affects us all indirectly. In fact, it does affect you. I will ask you these questions today. What are you being silent about that affects someone and you can speak up and hopefully make a difference? What commitment will you make in 2022 towards ensuring everyone's civil and human rights are being protected? Dr. King stated, you do have to commit yourself to the noble struggle for human rights. I invite you to make that commitment today. You will see the difference it will make, not only in your life, but in the lives of others. Before I end, I wanted to take time to thank a number of people that made today's celebration possible. A big thank you to our County Executive, Calvin Ball, the county's Chief Administrative Officer, Lonnie Robbins, County Council Chair, Dr. Opal Jones, and all the public officials who showed their support. Let's give a huge thank you as well to our wonderful Master of Ceremonies, Sabrine Semper. She has led our program with dignity and lots of enthusiasm. Thank you, Sabrine. I also want to express appreciation to all of our performers and students who participated. You are magnificent, and today's event would not have been the same without your participation. I want to take time to express my deepest gratitude to the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commissioners. They meet and work on today's event and the day of service throughout the year. They unselfishly serve our community without the expectation of being honored or acknowledged. I stand here today to let them know we appreciate you and everything you do to keep Dr. King's vision and legacy alive here in Howard County. I also want to thank our chair, Dr. Diane Martin, and Vice Chair Kurt Wall for their leadership. Commissioner Hash earlier shared an example of how the commissioners have answered the call to service. The commission has aligned its service with Dr. King's commitment to serving the community year-round by hosting the pop-up pantries. I celebrate and honor all the essay and poster contest winners, as well as Living the Dream Award recipients. I want to take time also to thank the staff at the Office of Human Rights and Equity. In particular, Marla Moore and Wanda Kao, who support the MLK Holiday Commission year-round, including this event. Claudia Allen and Fatina Jackson, I thank you for their assistance with this event. And investigators Todd Givens, Juan Torres, and Kevin Logan, who all worked at the Commission's pop-up pantries. Lastly, I am so honored to stand here today to celebrate an American hero. I thank Dr. King because we all stand on his legacy and live in a world that would be much different if Dr. King did not stand up and make a sacrifice to make this world a better place. I thank all of you for attending this celebration today in honor of Dr. King. Thank you.
So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiking Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty.